So if there's one thing in the world that is really popular right now, it is Google Stadia. Everyone is talking about it, everyone's saying things about it, and people love to hate Stadia. Okay, so Google Stadia has promised that there's going to be a pro version and a base version, or a free version. So essentially, it is a free console that you can play any of your favorite games on. And we are here almost 2.5 months later, and you still have to pay $129 to get involved with Stadia or know someone to give you a buddy pass. But there is no base tier yet. There's no free version. There's no way to really try out Stadia without plunking down a lot of money. And well, we've been told it's supposed to happen in 2020. When? Don't know yet. But what I am here to discuss is when that does come out, we're gonna have 5 things we want to talk about Stadia Base that they will need to help Stadia succeed in 2020. Now, if you're a fan of Google Stadia or me talking about Stadia in general, don't forget to click subscribe, click that bell notification so you get notified when we go live with new videos, and even when we do our live podcast every week, which I've been trying to do towards the weekend, Fridays, Saturdays. It's kind of just been random when I do it, so definitely have that bell notification turned on so you do get notified when I click live. Now, I've been loving Stadia for the past 2 months. It's been awesome. It's been awesome to be in my living room and play some Destiny and just say, you know what, I want to come back in here to my computer and play instead. That's awesome. I've always said it's like Switch-like experience, and it's always going to get better when the iOS apps come out and the Android apps come out and I can play on my phone and all that kind of cool stuff. But there's a bigger thing that needs to come out, and that is Stadia Base. Now, the general public does not like Stadia, or they're not giving it its best opinion because, well, they just haven't had the ability to try it out yet. I'm here to tell you, Google, this is what you need to do to help Stadia succeed in 2020, because right now people don't like you very much, and it's not fair. You're right. It's not fair that people don't like you because, well, they haven't had a chance to try and play with you. That's fine. Now, that was weird that I just said it like that, but the point is, Stadia Base has 5 things it needs to succeed in 2020. Number 1, it needs a release by March. Now, we assumed that Base would probably come out around the February time, and while it still can, we have no word on it yet. And the reason we assume that is because that's 3 months after our trial ends for Stadia Pro. And of course, there's no reason why they'd have to release Base at that point. They can just continue us on the base tier or continue to charge us $9.99 a month instead. But we'd assume. It makes sense, a little 3-month launch window, you know, kind of get the idea of, okay, this is what our servers can handle. But I think it's time for them to say, you know what, let's turn it on, let's see what we can really handle here, and let's let Base finally make its way out there. Now, one thing Base needs to include, and I'll include it in this part because I don't think it's worthy of its own point, is they need to give new members a free month trial. Now, this is pretty much the norm for literally anything. You either get at least a 1-week trial, 2-week trial, or a 4-week trial in the form of a month. With any new subscription service via an online cloud-ish kind of thing, so you got your Netflix, your Hulu, Disney Plus, everything gives you a trial, so you can say, you know what, this is cool, but I don't want to continue. This is cool, I do want to continue. Let me give you money so I can keep doing it. Or it gives them, it's a little different because Stadia works differently than those other services. Now, Netflix doesn't have a free tier, so you can't, watch Netflix with commercials or anything like that. But Stadia will be a little different. So what they will need to include when it hopefully launches by March, because sooner is better than later, is I'll go with a 1-month pro trial. Let's go with a 1-month pro trial because that's pretty much what is the norm. And this will allow people to play games on Stadia without having to commit any money. And this will allow them to get people to maybe buy games, and it may let them want to buy pro memberships. Now, my initial thought back in the day before Stadia launch was they should have free-to-play games for this exact reason. But when you think about it, the servers do get locked up if there's a enormous amount of people playing on it. Of course, I don't know that from experience playing Stadia, but I would assume because, just like anything else running on an online server, that's just how it works. So free to play may be a better thing for pro subscribers only instead of, just anyone, because then you have people just kind of leeching off the service and blah, 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 blah. So a 1-month pro trial would be good. It will let people claim a game like Tomb Raider or Destiny 2 and see how it plays for them. If it plays good, good. Maybe you'll have a new subscriber, or at the very least, maybe you'll have someone buying a game on Stadia, which is what they ultimately want, is people just buying stuff for Stadia. So launch it by March and include a 1-month free subscription. Number 2, so this goes back to one of my very first videos when it came to covering Stadia. Stadia needs to have sales for base members. It is absurd that so far we're assuming, because we haven't been told different, because they said sales for pro subscribers. Cool. I'm a pro member, that's awesome. A lot of people are out right now because that's all you can really be. Is pro members, yes, they should get a benefit to it. They should get a better sale, but base members shouldn't be these, they shouldn't be punished for being base members. And I think when you look at it that way, it's because you'll have people definitely being very angry with Google, saying, oh, why do pro members get sales? Why don't I get any? I mean, you walk into a store and everyone gets access to that sale. Makes sense, right? And sometimes they'll maybe have a membership and the members only get a better sale. And that's what PlayStation does. It's what Xbox does. It's a smart move, and it allows you to incentivize a pro membership, but it doesn't punish you for not doing it too. So you can still get like a 10% off deal on, say, Borderlands 3, but if you were a pro member, you get a 33% off deal. Like, you should be able to have some kind of a tiered system for base members so they're not punished for being base members, and it'll still incentivize them to purchase games on your platform because you're still offering them sales, and it makes you more competitive with the market when it comes to Xbox and PlayStation and Nintendo and Steam and Origin and Epic Game Store and all these other launchers and all these other systems that are competing against you for this same space. Be competitive and offer sales to those base members. Number 3, and this is kind of a selfish one on my part because this is not just for base members, but is necessary for everybody. Complete Android and iOS support needs to happen by the end of 2020. Now, in the recent community update, Stadia in the new year, we got word that Android support is planned for Q1 or close to Q1. That's good. Android support makes sense because Google owns Android and it should be there first. It shouldn't really be that big of a problem for them to unlock that fully. In fact, some people can kind of do it now, but iOS support needs to follow because here in the States, iOS has a huge market share, and maybe across the world, Android is far more popular. Of course, Android exists on more platforms, yes. But no denying here in the States, Apple has a very nice stranglehold on the user base in terms of who, what phones people are using. I'm using an iOS device. Of course, I kind of go back and forth, but it's not here or there. Point is, people have iOS, people have Android, and Google's point is they want to get Stadia on as many screens as possible. So they need to make sure that Stadia is available on every possible screen they can make possible. There's a lot of possibles in 2020 because that is going to be big. It's going to give people a Switch-like experience that I think is huge, and obviously the Switch is doing pretty well. I own freaking 2 of them for some reason. So make it happen, Google. Make sure that iOS is definitely in the cards for this year because it's going to matter. It really will matter. Number 4, Google needs to land a big AAA mainstream title. Do they have AAA titles right now? Of course, that's pretty much what the entire service has. It's just AAA titles. Of course, you have your Thumper, you have Guilt would be another one. You have a couple that aren't AAA titles. You have your Borderlands, you have your Destiny, you have your NBA 2K. You do have AAA titles, but you don't have the mainstream AAA title that people will always buy year after year. And we're talking a Call of Duty, we're talking a Madden, we're talking a FIFA, we're talking a game that is going to matter to a lot of people. Destiny, it's a niche game. Borderlands, also a niche game, but they're also just kind of just shooters. Now, they need a big title to entice people to come over to Stadia, and it's possible that the 120 games that are coming to Stadia this year might include 1 or 2 or maybe more of those, but the fact is they need a AAA title to A, be taken seriously, and B, to grow that user base, because trying to find a match in a lot of these games that Stadia has right now, not the best experience. It can take a while. Now, Destiny 2, it can take me a while to find a Rumble match in the Crucible, but if I go into Iron Banner or maybe Control or Gambit, I can have no problem. If I go on to a different platform, I'll not have a problem finding any match anywhere, anytime, for pretty much any game. And I can date years back. Like, I could go probably play Destiny 1 and I have a problem finding any Crucible matches. Would I do that? No. But AAA titles need to have an appearance on Stadia that matter. Doom Eternal, I think, is a great step in the right direction because that is a game many people are excited for. I think a lot of Stadia users will be picking up Doom Eternal, myself included. So I think a lot of people would be very gravitated towards a AAA title that many people are going to play. So like a Call of Duty is definitely big, a Madden's big. And of course, I'm missing plenty of other games that could definitely fit that bill, but those are the two that come to my mind because they're those two games that I would be interested in. So a big AAA title is definitely necessary for Stadia Base to succeed in 2020. Number 5, and probably most important to a lot of users just in general now, is better social integrations. And this kind of just encompasses literally everything when it comes to Stadia and making it a much more social environment for people to play in. Messaging, that's a big one that's missing. Of course, Nintendo's been missing that for... Nintendo just doesn't get online. That's not here or there either. But Google, a little bigger company, they should be able to kind of integrate it better. So better messaging, or actually have a messaging at all, a voice chat system that makes sense, party chat systems, of course, integration with YouTube will eventually happen. Of course, software has to, of course, initialize that as well. Of course, we need a better way to share our screenshots, a better way to share our video clips, and of course, a better way to make those video clips. I don't want to have to just settle with 30 seconds. This is a gaming system in the cloud that is probably integrated with Google Photos already. So let me just have this huge video clip that I want to share, right? If it's 5 minutes long, so be it, okay? But I should be able to also share that to Twitter. I should be able to just literally download it from Google Photos, or even the Stadia app, but you can't even do that. You have to screenshot something or use Google Takeout, which is just dumb, but whatever, all right? But they need better social integration because people need to be able to share their experiences with Stadia, and doing so right now is a chore, is hard, and is very unintuitive, and they need to make that better. And of course, so many people have been wanting messaging, better voice chat systems, just better systems in general when it comes to just talking to friends or playing with friends. It's just not there yet. And if they don't have this when Base launches, it's going to upset a lot of people. All right, and those are 5 things that Stadia Base needs, but I'm going to add a bonus one for myself because I think it's also needed in a way, is that Stadia, or Google in general, needs to ship their controllers, their Premier Editions, to retailers, all right? So Best Buy, Walmart, Target, everywhere that you can buy anything Google related, they should have these things in stock. I should be able to go to Best Buy and pick up an extra Stadia controller if I wanted to. I should be able to go pick up the Claw for my controller if I wanted to. They should have these things ready to go. And maybe they do have plans for that when Base comes out, but I don't want to have to wait, 2 to 7 days for these things to show up in my house. If I want an extra controller because, oh my God, my brother's coming to town, he wants to play something, so now I have to go buy a controller, or right now I'd have to buy it online and hopefully it gets here by that time. Not gonna happen. So I think it'd be cool if we can go to a retailer and just pick up these things because, well, you want people to buy your stuff, make it more available. All right, it's simple as that. So those are my 5 plus 1 bonus of what Stadia Base needs to succeed this year. What are yours? I know mine are going to be different than yours, so let me know down in the comments below. Of course, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up because it does help me out and it lets other people that are interested in Google Stadia stuff find me just like you did. All right, until next time, don't forget to subscribe. We'll be going live this weekend with Party Time Live 3. Just do one of those. It's 3, not 6. Party Time Live 3. And of course, like, share, subscribe. I already said all that. All right, thank you, and party on.